So we're going to do this first before we attack, because they might pop the Perilous Vault, and I want them to get rid of our Treacherous Blessing if they do that. Draw 3. Attack you. Are you going to pop the Vault? Should probably pop the Vault. Wait through time. We still have 3 mana. Pretty funny. Another Perilous Vault. Play the Omen of the Sun. Attack you. Perilous Vault. Are they trying to mill me out? Omen of the Sun. What do you got? 1 Fatal Push. 1 Fatal Push, huh? Not enough. What's up everyone, welcome back to the Carnarium. I'm Waste and I have another video for you today. A couple weeks ago, Wizards of the Coast released the new Pioneer Masters set on Magic the Gathering Arena. This was a digital-only set that brought a bunch of new cards to Arena and turned Explorer almost all the way fully into Pioneer. Now players have all the cards they need to build the top competitive decks from Pioneer or brew completely new ones. So I'm excited to hop back in the queue and see what everyone's bringing to the table now. And the deck I chose to jump back in with is Doom Foretold. But before we get into all that, if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, like the video, and maybe jump in the channel Discord if you're interested in that. Discord link and deck list in the description. So Doom Foretold, I've made videos on this deck before, but it's one of my absolute favorites, so I feel like it's a good one to jump back in the queue with. If you're familiar with this deck, it's not that much different than what you should expect, but if you're new to Pioneer or you've never seen this deck before, I'm going to break it down a little bit, talk about the key cards and the strategy that makes this deck work. So Doom Foretold is a 4-mana Orzhov enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-land, non-token permanent of their choice. If that player can't, they discard a card, they lose 2 life, you draw a card, you gain 2 life, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance, then sacrifice Doom Foretold. So that's a lot of text. What does that really mean? So this is a symmetrical effect, meaning it affects our opponents and it affects us. It affects our opponents first, which is nice, but then on our upkeep, it affects us as well. However, we break the symmetry of this card by having a ton of permanents, like Elspeth's Nightmare and Omen of the Sun, that we can sacrifice to Doom Foretold on our turn, and our opponents aren't built around it, so they end up having to sacrifice their key permanents that make their deck work. So the goal of the deck is to get Doom Foretold down, allow it to eat away the opponent's resources while we continue to build up resources. Then we use value permanents like Omen of the Sea, which helps us draw cards, Golden Egg, which helps us draw a card and gain life if we need to, Omen of the Sun, which creates us blockers or attackers in the right situation and gains us life, Elspeth's Nightmare, which can take out a creature, look in the opponent's hand, and then exile an opponent's graveyard, which is key against a deck like Izzet Phoenix, and Treacherous Blessing, which is one of my favorite cards in this deck because it's almost unplayable anywhere else. It's a 3-mana enchantment, comes down, draws us 3 cards, 3-mana draw 3 is really good, but then we get the downside of we lose 1 life whenever we cast a spell. However, we can sacrifice it to Doom Foretold. So we end up getting all the value of this card and none of the downside. We control the board with cards like Rite of Oblivion and Vanishing Verse. And then the way that this deck finishes the game is with Dance of the Manse. It says return up to X target artifact and or non-aura enchantment cards, each with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If X is 6 or more, those permanents are 4/4 creatures in addition to their other types. This can bring back all of our enchantments and artifacts to the battlefield, and when they re-enter the battlefield, we get all those ETB triggers again. And then in the late game, when we have enough mana, we can do X is 6 or more, bring back all of those enchantments and artifacts, but then they turn into 4/4 creatures, which still trigger and have all their ETBs. The mana base is what you would expect. It's basically just trying to make sure we hit all of our colors. Besides that, we have 2 Crawling Barrens for utility lands, and 4 Fabled Passages to fetch out basics from our deck. It's a really fun deck. It's kind of hard to explain, but just keep watching, you'll see how it works. So let's hop into the games and see if our opponents can handle Doom Foretold. Alright, we get to go first. We're playing against Snoon Slayer. Snoon Slayer, okay. So, we have all of our mana. 4 lands is a lot. We're not doing anything until turn 3. We should probably mulligan this, but this is good against an early game creature or someone trying to play control, so I guess we'll keep. Since we're on the play, we have technically 1 extra turn to kind of sort things out. Green, huh? Alright, I guess we'll get this down since we have nothing else to do. Omen of the Sun is a nice draw. Nick those. Well, we like them playing that because it's perfect right into our Elspeth's Nightmare. So there's some kind of mono-green Nykthos deck, which is definitely scary. Another basic forest. Snow covered too, which is interesting. I wonder why they're running snow basics. I know there was that card in standard a little while ago. I think it was a fight spell that cared about snow lands, but I don't know if that's good enough for Pioneer. Guess we'll find out. Tail Swipe, Questing Beast, Old Growth Troll. No snow synergies. Yeah, I think we just get down the Doom Foretold. It's really hard for them to fight against it. And if we get to keep putting permanents down, then we kind of have them in a little bit of a lock. If I were them, I would play the castle and then play Old Growth Troll, because when this dies, it gives them value. It's also something they can sack later on to Doom Foretold, so it kind of 2-for-1s us. And that's exactly what they do. We'll sack the Nightmare. I don't think we really care about their graveyard. We're not really worried about our life total right now, but I just want to do the math. I think we can have this entered tapped. We can play this at instant speed and this at instant speed as well. Pass the turn. Maybe we'll lull them into thinking that this is going to go away. So like I was saying, Old Growth Troll, it pops. It turns into a aura that goes on a land, so now this land taps for more mana. The Doom Foretold, in a sense, kind of helped them. Play a Gilded Goose. Okay. Create a food. Make some mana. Play a Questing Beast. Yep. Sounds good. What does it say? I mean, there was like a whole novel on this card, but there was one part about Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Okay, so I was debating whether to flash this in, but it won't change anything. The creatures couldn't block Questing Beast anyway. They're only 1/1s. Let's flash this in. And we can get rid of their Tail Swipe. Draw a card. Kind of helps us with Dance of the Manse. So we'll sack the Omen. Draw Vanishing Verse. That's really good against this deck. All their permanents are monocolored. So we can get back 2 cards with Dance of the Manse. Pretty good. I think the right play here is Dance of the Manse for 3. Get them back. We'll kill the Gilded Goose with the Elspeth's Nightmare. Then Questing Beast will die to the Doom Foretold. Is this an instant? Yeah, it is. Okay, we'll gain 2 life, make 2 1/1s. And no point in attacking. Doom Foretold? They can't sack this food token. It has to be a non-token permanent. Okay, so they can sack their Old Growth Troll. I forgot about that. They can attack in with the Questing Beast. That's fine. Take another 4. Eric's Harbinger. Protection from black. Well, that definitely makes it a little tougher. So I guess we're exiling Questing Beast. Okay. Tail Swipe, does that matter? I guess, yeah. I guess let's get rid of it, right? They can cast it in response to this trigger, but then they're empty-handed. You can exile your Questing Beast in response to that. Yeah, let's get down the Treacherous Blessing. And now we got the full engine online. Draw 3. We're control the board, and opponent scoops it up. Scoops it up at 20 life. It's the power of Doom Foretold. Alright, we're on the draw. We're playing Greed. That's a cool name. We have all our colors. We have removal, although this requires something to sacrifice. I think we have to mulligan this hand. It's not super great on the draw. Okay, next up. This is pretty much the same thing, although we at least have Omen of the Sun. For fear of going down to 5 cards, I'm going to keep this, although it's not the best hand. And we'll just put back Dance of the Manse. It's just so far away from being any good. Thoughtseize. Welcome to Pioneer. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Something you should become very comfortable with if you want to play this format. Alright, that's not the worst draw. It's just kind of far away. Let's just get the Fabled Passage down. Go ahead and get a Plains. That will turn on our isolated chapel, and we'll have double white, which we can use for settle the wreckage. I guess we drew a plane, so there you go. Play that. We don't have anything else to do, so we'll just pass the turn. So far, we're not under any pressure, which is nice. Hopefully we draw something like an Omen of the Sun or Elspeth's Nightmare, something we can get down on the battlefield. 2 Doom Foretold's not really what we want. All right. I mean, they know 2 cards in our hand. They don't know about the 2 Doom Foretold's. 3 steps ahead. So they're some kind of control deck. Maybe a graveyard control deck. Okay. Sultai control? Again, I'm hopping back in the format after all those cards got imported, so this could really be anything. I have no idea. We have 2 Doom Foretold, so I don't mind just plopping this down. If it got countered, that would have been okay. Would have gotten a counter out of their hand. But now, they don't sacrifice anything, but we do get all the value of Doom Foretold popping. So they'll have to discard a card, they'll lose 2 life, we'll draw a card, we'll gain 2 life, and create a 2/2. They're deciding on which card to discard. Kind of interesting main deck Radiant Fountain. It must be a control deck, because why would you main deck Radiant Fountain? That's got to be to survive against burn and aggro decks. Yeah, look at all this. This is just removal and counters. Okay, Doom Foretold number 3. We do like Doom Foretold, that's what the deck is based around, but we need the supporting permanents to make it work. Let's try to attack him with the 2/2. It's vigilant, so there's no reason not to. Yeah, get in there, little 2/2. We gotta beat him down with the 2/2. That's the way it is. Yeah, I mean, I have another one in hand. Eventually, we can start the actual Doom Foretold process, but we'll just do this for now. I mean, making them discard and creating a 2/2 and drawing cards, that's not bad for 4 mana. I think they're gonna Treasure Cruise here, because they're looking at their graveyard. Dig Through Time. Same kind of spell. Slightly different, but same kind of thing. So they get to look at the top 7 cards of their library, put 2 of them in their hand, the rest in the bottom of their library in any order. I wonder what their end game is. I wonder what they're trying to win the game with. Because so far they haven't countered any of our Doom Foretolds, and I feel like they would want to. Okay, that's good. Omen of the Sea. That's good. So that can start getting the engine going for us. They're still not putting down any permanents, which is kind of funny. I mean, we're just going to keep attacking you. If you don't put anything down, we're just going to beat you down with our tokens. It'll be kind of a weird game, but I mean, win's a win. Yeah, I don't really want to put this Doom Foretold down because I want to be able to get the actual loop started, but if they're not going to play any permanents, like I don't see any permanents in here, then yeah, I don't... Is not normally the way this deck works, but you know, if we make them counter this, then that's fine because it takes a counter out of their hand. If it sticks, then we get all the value of Doom Foretold popping, and we'll have 6 power on the battlefield, and they'll be 2 turns away from dying. Up to you, opponent. How are you feeling about that greed? Not good, they say. So they counter it, they draw 2, and discard a card. That's fine. We took a counter out of their hand in the turn. You got to think too, they've played 2 Radiant Fountains, which means they'd actually be at 6 life if they didn't have these Radiant Fountains. Thoughtseize again. Probably the Dance of the Manse. I don't have any blue mana right now, but that's probably what they should take. It's the most value. Yeah. Okay. Good decision. Kiora. Until your next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to and dealt by target permanent. Okay. Oh, there's blue mana. Comes into play tapped, unfortunately. So I guess we're attacking the Kiora? Yeah, and then this doesn't do anything, but why not? It's vigilant.
You're making me crabby.
And I guess we'll just hold up the mana. We don't have anything else to do. We could pump up Crawling Barrens. They might not see that coming. Oh, they just saw it. They just saw that line.
I'm on top.
Which means they might not have any removal in their hand. What a weird control deck. I mean, I know they're running some removal, but they don't have any, they didn't keep any removal after all their draw. Ah, they have a board wipe. Okay. Got it. So that's why they clicked the Crawling Barrens. Okay. Sure. That makes sense. They're gonna collect evidence 6, so what are they getting rid of? Dude, that's fine. It's not really good in this matchup. It's just funny. It's really good against most decks, but it's not really good in this matchup. Let's go ahead and just pump up the Crawling Barons for later. We'll decline. Is there anything else to get? There's Omen of the Sun. We can Omen of the Sea. Do we need more Rite of Oblivions? Probably not. Do we need more lands? Probably not right now. Oh, there you go. This is sorcery speed, so if we want to do it, we got to do it now. They're tapped down as well, so I think we got to do this. This is our window. We're going to destroy this. We'll sack this. And then, yeah, they're going to need some instant speed removal because a board wipe's not going to get rid of the Crawling Barons. We can't attack with it this turn because they made it so it wouldn't do damage until our next turn, which is now. We'll pump this up. Take action. Do you have instant speed removal? You should. You're a control deck. You're going to dig through time to look for it. Okay. Didn't find it. Or maybe they did and they're just waiting till the last second. Okay, Fatal Push, sure. Then we'll get this guy out. I don't think they can counter it with 1 blue. I think they need double blue. So, obviously Chapter 1 doesn't do anything in this matchup, but we'll get to look at their hand and take a non-creature out of it, and then we can exile their graveyard, which turns off all their dig for times. Oh, never mind. All right. Okay, 2 life. I guess let's go to our second main, see if there's any stick. There is. We can try to force through a Dance of the Manse, or we can just Castle Vantress and try to pull cards from the top, but I kind of just want to do this. How many enchantments are we trying to get back? 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah. So we'll do X equals 3. It won't come back as creatures, but we'll still get all their ETBs if they don't counter it. They have a counter, they should counter it. Oh, nope. Alright. Make a couple 1/1s, draw a couple cards. Vanishing Verse. So what was that Planeswalker? It was multicolored, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. So Vanishing Verse doesn't work against that. That's their only permanent that they've played so far. So I think we bottom those. Another Crawling Barons is actually a good draw. End the turn. 3 steps ahead. Okay. Draw 2, discard 1. They don't know about the other Crawling Barons, and they can't get rid of it with a Thoughtseize or something else like that. It's those cards only get rid of non-lands. So if we get this down and pump it up and surprise them, we could get in 10 damage, maybe. Just let them do it. We gotta get rid of that now because it turns off the Crawling Barons.
But my friend's kind of a big deal.
We can Rite of Oblivion it, so we do have an answer. Sure.
The waves crash at my command.
Pass. Let's get this in the graveyard. Scry 2. Rite of Oblivion, Cling to Dust. I like Cling to Dust. How many cards do we have in our graveyard? 6? Okay, we'll take Cling to Dust. It'll draw us at least 1 card. Okay, what's in your hand? What do you got going on in there? 2 steps ahead. Okay. Well, that's fine. I'll just take whatever cards you show me now. But what was that? Ashiok? 2 lands. Interesting. Okay. Sure. So let's attack your face. We know they have nothing in their hand. Let's play the Crawling Barons. Let's Rite of Oblivion, the Kiora. Next turn, this will exile their graveyard. It'll turn off all their dig through times and stuff like that.
From battle.
And then let's pass. We'll keep up Cling to Dust just in case they have some kind of graveyard shenanigan. We can exile something at instant speed. They pass the turn. Cling to Dust. Let's get rid of Ashiok. I don't want that coming back. Draw a card. I think I'd rather pump up the Crawling Barrens. Decline. Exile your graveyard. How much damage can we do this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can pump it up twice, so it'll become a 6/6, so we can do 8 damage. Pretty good. I think that's what we do. We'll make them have the answer. We'll decline on the first one. Take action. Do you have another Fatal Push? Assassin's Trophy. Sure. Decline. Well, that's a bummer, but they're still top decking, and they have nothing else going on, so we'll see what they come up with. Exile, Perilous Vault, exile all non-land permanents. Okay. Sure. So they have pseudo protection. All right. Well, let's make you pop it. Man, this is a grind. Down to 5. So we can hold up mana for Castle Vantress and just filter through our deck. I think at this point, like, Omen of the Sun is our best card. We already got rid of both our Crawling Barrens, so good for them. We have one more Dance of the Manse in the deck as well. So I think that's what we're looking for. All those guys. Because if we can turn all our enchantments into creatures, then we're golden. Let's play the Nightmare. It might make them want to pop this Perilous Vault. And then end the turn. We can Castle Vantress and start digging for the stuff we want. And if they don't get rid of it, we'll get to look in their hand next turn. Okay. So what does this do? I haven't seen this Planeswalker in a long time. Exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. Sure. Put a creature card with mana value X, exile with Ashiok, Nightmare Weaver onto the battlefield under your control. Well, I don't have any creatures in my deck, so that's not going to do anything. But it might get rid of some of my stuff. Pass the turn. Go to end step. Castle Vantress. Yep. We do not need lands. We can do an upkeep stop if we want. Castle Vantress again. Well, I'm glad I Castle Vantress twice, because, man, 4 lands in a row, that would have been a little brutal. Monocolored permanent. This is not a monocolored permanent. I just go for their life total, right? Like, there's nothing they can do right now except for exiling this, which would also get rid of their own Ashiok. But I think I ignore Ashiok, as weird as that looks, and I think I just try to kill them. See what they draw. Okay, they're gonna keep exiling my library. What did they get? Ah, they got the last Dance of the Manse. Of course they did. Of course they did. We can still win, but it just makes it that much harder. Is there anything else I want to do? We can Cling to Dust. I think it's a good time to Cling to Dust. Okay, so we'll get rid of your Assassin's Trophy. We'll exile everything except the enchantments. I guess it doesn't matter because they got rid of my other Dance of the Manse, but just as good practice. Another land. Yeah, I think we Castle Vantress. I think we're at that stage of the game. Treacherous Blessing. Yeah, we'll take Treacherous Blessing. Okay. Main phase. Exile your graveyard. So we're gonna do this first before we attack, because they might pop the Perilous Vault, and I want them to get rid of our Treacherous Blessing if they do that. Draw 3. All right. Attack you. Are you gonna pop the vault? Should probably pop the vault. All right. Resolve. Those all go to exile. Sounds good. Play this land. We can play this at flash speed, so we'll end the turn. Dig through time. Okay. Hard cast Dig through time. No way to delve it. No graveyard. We still have 3 mana. 4 mana, gain 2 life. Those Radiant Fountains, if you think about it, they've played all 4 Radiant Fountains. They would actually be dead without the Radiant Fountains, so pretty funny. Another Perilous Vault. My goodness. But they are tapped out, so hold on. We can pass, play the Omen of the Sun, and then Godless Shrine, Treacherous Blessing. Man. We need a, I thought one of these was a, the Oblivion one, but it's not. Next, attack you. Yeah, I guess end the turn. Rite of Oblivion, that's what I was thinking of. We have Castle of Antris and Omen of the Sun that we can pop, so you know, we have more tools than they do. All right, pop this. Scry 2. No. Yes. I know we know what's on top, but I want to see what's under the card on top. Yes, I think, right? I think so. It helps us draw into stuff. So we'll do it like that. You gonna pop the vault? No? We have all our basics. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we do. So this is useless. You can tuck that away over there. Pay 2 life. Attack you. Go down to 1. You have no more Radiant Fountains in the deck. All right. I think we just post up like this. We have all the tools to handle anything that comes down. We just gotta hope they don't have a counter spell. We don't want to flash this out. We want to keep that in our back pocket. I guess we'll scry with Castle of Antris. We knew that was on top, but yes. Okay, so do we do it like that? I think we do it like this because we'll get the card and the permanent down. But they're gonna exile it. Yeah, I mean, they left our permanent. Okay, I think we do it like this. I think we do it like this. My turn. So they can activate this in response to this, but that's okay. Well, let's just hold on to this and force them to do it. Perilous Vault. Sounds good. And then we'll hold this for later. We're gonna have other permanents that we can sack if they have more of these Perilous Vaults in their deck. Yep, I think we just... I mean, we can play this and just get it out of our hand. But it's not going to do anything. We only have 5 basics in the deck. Okay. Are they trying to mill me out? I mean, it's definitely a strategy. Resolve. Put a stop. Pass the turn. Omen of the Sun. What do you got? 1 fatal push. 1 fatal push, huh? Not enough. All right, opponent gets to go first. We don't have any blue mana, so this hand is kind of bad. We're playing against Omnath the Jelly Bean. Omnath himself. I think we got a mulligan this. This is better. We'll keep 6. We'll put back the Dance of the Man, so we want that later anyway. And we'll roll with this. I wonder what deck Omnath the Jelly Bean is playing. Mono red. Pfft, get out of here. Omnath would never. Omnath would never play mono red. All right. We don't really have anything to do turn 1, so we might as well just play the Fable Passage. We'll crack it on their end step, not give them any information. Not that mono red thinks about their plays, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Okay. So this is like the pump up mono red deck. That's fine. We'll put a stop here just in case. And we'll crack this. What do we go get? Probably, I think we get down a white source. My turn. So this says when it dies, right? Yeah. So Vanishing Verse gets around that because it will exile it. We'll just pass the turn. If they're going to play this kind of deck where they pump a bunch of spells into one creature, then we can just let them do that and then Vanishing Verse it away. Bye-bye. Oh, no land drop? Ooh, opponent. Let's play the island so we don't take damage from Underground River. And pass the turn. We can play both of these at instant speed. Another Heartfire Hero. Okay. Do they have another land drop? No. Oof. I mean, do we just get rid of it? Yeah. I mean, I think we just Omen of the Sun. Get some blockers down. Gain some life. Draw some more removal. Play Doom Foretold. I think that's the way to do it. No attacks, doesn't really make any sense. Make them sack the Heartfire Hero. They could pump it up if they want to do some damage to us. Because this sacrifice is a die effect. I think they're going to do that. Yep. Smart. Smart. Look at mono red using their brain cells. Face down card. Okay. It's an interesting card. I don't think I've seen that one before. Turn inside out. That's cool. Pump spell and it gives them a creature. It's not a token creature though, right? So it will die to Doom Foretold. Omen of the Sun. Wow. Okay. This is technically colorless though, so it doesn't get affected by Vanishing Verse. I think we just pass here. Let it die. We can hide the fact that we have another permanent to sack. I don't think that really matters for mono red, but sometimes it does. Interesting, so they're not going to play anything. Well, let's get Omen of the Sea down. I wonder if that means they have direct burn spells or they actually don't have anything to play. Dance of the Mance. Sure. Definitely not bad. My turn? Omen of the Sea will go to the graveyard. Play the Shattered Sanctum. Dance of the Mance for 3. Get back an Omen of the Sun and an Omen of the Sea. Make some 1/1s, gain some life, draw some cards. I love this deck. This is the dirtle I'm here for. Fabled Passage. We don't want to miss our land drops, so I think we'll take 1 Fabled Passage. That's fine. Attack them with the 1/1s. Doom Foretold pops. So they discard a card. Ooh, that's a good one too. We make a 2/2. Gain life, they lose life. Oh man, opponent. I think the opponent is in a rough spot. So we'll just hold our removal. And beat them down with the tokens. If they can't block these, then they're just gonna die. And anything that they play, we can get rid of because it's a monocolored deck. Sure. Anything else? No? Bye-bye to your Fireblade. Bye-bye to you. Alright, deck review. So that was Doom Foretold. Like I said, one of my favorite decks. I just love the play style. Get down some dirtily value enchantments, some artifacts, sacrifice them, gain value from the sacrifice, get down Doom Foretold, break the symmetry of the card. I love decks that break symmetry. I kind of wish Magic went back to making more cards like this. They used to make a lot of cards that hurt you and the opponent, and then you had to build decks around breaking the symmetry. And I thought those decks were super fun. This is kind of a throwback to that style of design that Wizards used to do, and I'm all here for it. This came out in Eldraine, which I guess was a while ago now, but it's a somewhat recent card in the last 5 years or so. So yeah, I really like this deck. I really like breaking the symmetry of Doom Foretold. Most of our opponents aren't prepared to play this kind of play style, so they end up having to sacrifice most of their stuff while we gain value and bring all of our stuff back, gain more value, and eventually beat them down with our little tokens. I think we got to see the power of Dance of the Mance, which is a super good card in this deck. There are other versions of this deck. There's an Orzhov version. I think there's a Mardu version as well. But I always come back to the Esper version because if you don't run blue, you can't run Dance of the Mance, and I just think Dance of the Mance is the card that really puts the cherry on top of this deck. The other versions are cool, and I'll probably play them on the channel eventually. Obviously, an Orzhov deck would probably be easier because the mana base is more narrow. In the Mardu one, you can throw in some cards like Fable the Mirror Breaker, which would be really sweet. But if you don't run blue, you can't bring all your stuff back as 6/6s, so right now I'm really happy with the Esper version. I'm also really happy with the number of cards in the deck, and what I mean by that is, 4 Omen of the Seas, 4 Rite of Oblivions, 2 Elspeth's Nightmares. I played this deck a lot, and I feel like the balance is really good. Sometimes I do wish I just had one more Treacherous Blessing because it is such a sweet card in the deck. But all in all, I think it's pretty well balanced. The mana base is really good. I never felt like I was stuck on mana. So if you like the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the deck. Do you like Doom Foretold? If you want to try the deck, like I said, deck list is in the description. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.